Hi, Mr. Khan. Should an overstayer that is married to a British national apply for a visa from within the UK, or should they return to their home country to apply?
Uh, Good question on that. Spouse, let's assume in this way that they have a marriage certificate. It will be very unlikely that the spouse would get uh, leave here within the UK or visa within the UK. Why? Because they changed law back in 2012. So since 2012, so this is very unlikely unless there are extremely compassionate or compelling circumstances or any child there. Otherwise, just merely basis of the spouse, this is very unlikely. So what we will advise on that basis, that the spouse should leave the country, leave the UK, go back to the country where he came from, either in Pakistan or Somalia or wherever the country or Nigeria, and get a right entry clearance for that. But before he leave, make sure that fulfill requirement, mandatory requirement has to be fulfilled. Number one, income threshold. Number two, there is English test, and number three, there is a marriage which is acceptable by the UK government, and relationship genuine subsisting. And the only one thing is left now: the applicant has, a spouse has valid leave here in this country for switching. As you mentioned, this because he's overstayed, so therefore the person or applicant or spouse has to leave the UK, and no need to wait over there. Straight away application can be made. Other categories like a skilled worker or like other, other categories, whoever the categories, on those category, if someone is overstayed, that person has to wait at least 1 year after being overstayed in that country and then can apply. But in spouse, no need to wait 1 year, straight away can apply. Yes, but another thing is, if someone been, for example, overstayed and left the country and want to come as a dependent of any other category like a skilled worker, the person has to wait for 1 year. If been deported on the expenses of the applicant, then 5 years ban. If been deported on the expenses of the government, then 10 years ban. But this is less, chance that it's going to affect on the spouse of British citizen. So that's the advantage of that. But representation, explanation has to be very clear. The Secretary of State should understand that because it's a genuine and subsisting relationship.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Khan.